Okay, cool, I've done it. Is it recording? I can't see it. Oh, well. It is recording. Yeah, so last week's topics, we touched on the destructive and constructive self of sides of us. And we sort of worked out the sort of average of where our peak is and where our bottom is and where we average out on the reason why we stay stagnant and can't move. So I asked you to fill out these worksheets. I think a lot of people went on last week's session. But afterwards, we can sort of just share them into the group chat once we've got a hang of what that was talking about. But yeah, it was basically, we worked out what our peak work ethic was and what our lowest point was, and then as it moves up and down, we can only average it out to a point where we can't move. That's the only point we can move to. So this week we're focusing on how the mind works and how the mind makes decisions and how the mind forms beliefs. So I'm going to play a game. Let me just get this on properly. So yeah, this is the map that I'll put that into the group chat afterwards. So I want you to write in the chat box how you perceive this picture and how it makes you feel, and yeah, what's your first initial thought when you see this picture? Love that. That's a good one, Ryan. Sun is life, very true. Some worshippers in here. What is it though? Like, what do you see it as? Like, you went about the UK. Okay, true at the moment. You'll start to get it as I do the pictures more go through, but okay, so okay. What about this? Okay. What does it look like to you though? It's dark. Stargazing, okay. Peaceful, okay, fair enough. Okay, next one. What is this to you? Is it like, it's like greasy burger, delicious? Thank you. Okay. Complete opposite of what you'd say. Guys, no. It was supposed to come across as unhealthy. Exactly, Stuart. Thank you. Where's the veg at? God's sake, guys. Yeah, I suppose, the way you can look at it. Now this, what's this to you? Health, exactly. Dasha, tasteless. You can tell Dasha doesn't eat vegetables, mate. Ryan! You don't crack me up, hell. Oh my God, you lot need to get a dietitian or a nutritionist or something, because I don't know what is going on with your diets. Okay, cool. So what vibe does this give off to you? It's actually rude. Okay, so what do you see this as? What's your first feeling? Yeah, evil. Yeah, definitely. Yep, very true, very, very true. And this, what vibe does this give off? Yeah, peace. Yeah, good. So you've had evil. What side would this be? Heaven, yeah, happiness. Angel, Raynham. Sorry, I don't know what part of Raynham you're living, mate. Take me there. Exactly that, Ryan. There's two sides to everything. Okay, so why I put pictures that are opposite to one another and how they make you feel, what your first perception is because the only way we understand something is to compare it to an opposite of something. So this is actually called duality, and this is the only way that we think. Because when you think about it, there's no light without dark. If there was no dark, there wouldn't even be a light. Like, what would you call it? Because there's no comparison. This is how we figure things out. With healthy and unhealthy, if you just had the healthy, you wouldn't even have healthy, because there's nothing to compare it to. There's no unhealthy to compare it to. And this is how we think. So it's a division of opposites and how we all think. So yeah, food would just be just one thing, because there's no healthy, and if there was no unhealthy, there wouldn't be healthy. And this is sort of how we think. So you've got to sort of have an understanding of how human brains comprehend things. We can't actually comprehend anything without comparing it to something. So if I was to say just random, like my room is 128 purple monkeys, that wouldn't make sense to you, because if it was put it in 128 degrees, then that has a comparison to hot and cold, if that makes sense. I hope I put that across right. But this is basically how the human brains determine everything and comprehend everything, is that we sort of have to compare it to an opposite. So this is sort of how the human mind works. This is how the human mind sort of pictures things and has a perception of things. Now we're going to go on to how the human mind works and how it makes decisions. So, if I can get on to the next slide. So yeah, as I said, there's no light without dark. There's no healthy without unhealthy. There's no good without evil. And that's sort of how the comparison works. So what I want you to sort of tell me in the chat box, what makes us see? How do we see things? Don't try and deep it, just tell me what you genuinely think. Like, how do you see? Yeah, eyes. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. I knew you was gonna, Connor. Okay, what makes us feel touch? Ryan, okay, I like it. Ryan's cracked it already, can't even lie. No, Alex, you can't have it now. Ryan said it first. Okay, what makes us hear? Okay, we actually got that one. I was trying to catch you out, but actually Ryan cracked it, to be honest. It is the mind, because all of our senses, they all come from the mind. All senses do is gather the information and the senses take in the information, which is then processed by our mind, which then forms our own perception. So when people say mind over matter is really a thing, it's because if you get to the point where you have an understanding of how your senses are controlled by your brain, then you really have grasped mind over matter. So when we touch and we feel and we smell, it's actually just our brains taking in the information and creating a perception, and that is how we form our memory. So if, for example, have you ever like when you think of something, you get the same emotion of what you felt at that time. So when you saw it, when you get the memory back, you get the same emotion back again. So yeah, so basically that's sort of how our mind works. That's how perception works. So perception could be taken in two ways. So we can take it through our environment, through our senses, and then through our memory and imagination. So they both create a perception, but the brain doesn't actually know the difference in perception. It doesn't know what has happened in real life and what is in imagination. So the example that I've given before, to say, have you ever sort of like something that's happened in the past? Like me personally, I can cringe over something that's happened about 5 years ago, because the brain can't tell if that's happening right now. It's giving you the same emotion that you've had in the past, what you thought in the past, and giving you the same feeling of what has happened. So it's like the brain can't tell from subconscious and from the subconscious mind. And that's why like you have heard of people sort of believe in their own lies. It's because you start, sorry, someone's calling my name, it's really distracting me. Sorry, that was really distracting. Anyway, so yeah, this is why it's just why something can happen in the past, and when you think of it currently, it can give you the same emotion of what it happened then. So yeah, has anyone always cringed at anything that they think about now currently? Like, I know I've cringed so many things about what I think about now, and it literally makes my skin crawl. It's because the brain thinks that memory is happening right now, so it's giving you the same emotion that you had right then. So like, this is why if you think about something enough in your imagination, people start believing their own lies. That is an actual true thing, because your brain can't tell the difference whether it's happening now and whether it's not happened. People don't know. So this is why Bob Proctor talks about training your subconscious mind, because whatever you think about enough subconsciously will become present in your conscious mind. So if you can control your subconscious thoughts, you can actually make that into your conscious mind, and you will start acting, and everything will start to happen like without you even thinking about it. I think of Gemma Collins falling through that stage and I still laugh. Yeah, kind of like the same thing, right? I suppose. Yeah, that's true though. Like, when you think of something that's made you laugh in the past and you found it funny, when you think of it now, you get the same emotion. It makes you laugh again because your brain can't tell the difference. So it works the same thing as when someone sort of says an opinion to you. That's not necessarily a fact, but it's an opinion, and it makes you feel a certain way, it makes you feel negative or even positive. You'll replay that memory in your head over and over again. So at school, if a teacher tells you you're not good at something, you'll then replay that memory over and over and over in your head. Your brain, it then turns that into a perception. It then turns it into a belief, because your brain actually starts to believe that is the truth, and then you sort of form your identity around it. So So this is how the mind forms beliefs. So if you think of a belief on a scale, and it having one side of positive experiences and one side of negative experiences, and we sort of put our rocks of perception in life on each side. So say if you have one belief like, I don't know, you're not good at maths or something, your teacher told you you're not good at maths. Every time you have a bad experience with maths, you put one life rock on it every single time. And then you could have one or two positive experiences with it, even a few more positive experience with it. But because your scale is more balanced to the negative experiences, then you've then formed the belief that you're actually not good at it. So and then you will eventually give up, and you'll start forming your identity around it. So whatever way you stack the scales will become your belief. The belief then becomes your reality. So this is the rocks that I explained, and it comes across in that way. So this was just to cover the deeper understanding that you have about how the brain works and actually perceives things. The more you be able to control your emotions and your thoughts, and be open-minded to different perceptions. So we need to try and level out those scales as much as we can, or be open to leveling it out, so it stretches us as people and grows us as people. So one person could have more of a positive scale to one belief that you have, and you might have more of a negative scale. Everyone's different. This is sort of how we perceive things and how we form beliefs. So the next session, I want you to draw out your own scales over a belief that you have, and roughly figure out how you can do tasks, or how you can come out of your, it's have to make room for growth. So how you can do things to add those to the positive side of the experience, and to be able to level them out. So eventually that you will eventually want to grow into that belief as being a positive thing, and maybe stretching you out of your comfort zone, which could potentially lead to growth. So that's the session. I hope it gave value. If it didn't, please let me know, and I hope it made sense. So yeah, these sessions are just sort of to open our minds more, because it will help us essentially more in trading, just to be a less coordination with our emotions, and be more open-minded to thinking in a different way, which will eventually hopefully lead us to success. So yeah, I hope that gave value. I hope that made sense. I'll drop okay, thanks, Ryan. Yeah, so I'll drop these scales into the group chat. Try and fill them out into any beliefs that you want, and try and figure out how many negative experiences you've had with it, how many positive experiences, and what steps you can take in order to sort of level these scales out for yourself, which will eventually lead to growth and you coming out of your comfort zone. And you can apply it to any sort of aspects in life as well. So thanks, guys. Thanks.
Absolutely killed it again.
Thank you. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.